Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Assessing the Risk Women Leader Strategies for Calculated Decision Making, a special webinar organized by the GSMR Virtual Academy, co hosted by Women in Industry and Asset Management, WIAM. Today, on International Women's Day, we celebrate the achievements and contributions of women around the world, and we are honored to be a part of this global movement. I would like to invite our moderator for tonight, Ms. Rania Algeri, an experienced professional with 14 years of experience. She holds a bachelor degree in computer science and certifications in Security Plus and ISO 27005 Risk Management. Currently, Rania serves as the Vice Chairwoman of the Women in Industry and Asset Management Committee, which is WIAM, driving initiatives that promote women leadership and empowerment. Without further ado, I welcome Ms. Rania Algeri to moderate tonight's webinar.
Good evening, everyone. Ramadan Mubarak. It is my utmost pleasure to be joining you all tonight as your moderator, as we shall discuss this very exciting topic. Today, we gather to celebrate the courage, resilience, and determination of women who have dared to challenge the status quo, push beyond their comfort zones, and took bold risks to advance their careers. We'll hear from three inspiring women leaders who have navigated uncertainty, overcome obstacles, and achieved success through their willingness to take calculated risks. Through their stories, we'll explore the complexities of risk taking, the importance of resilience, and the strategies that have enabled these women to thrive in their professional journeys. I'm honored to introduce to you tonight Dr. Shiraz Nasser, the CEO and co-founder of Corrosion Radar, a leading technology startup in predictive corrosion monitoring and asset management in the UK. Under her leadership, the company has become a key player in industry, winning the Materials Performance Corrosion Innovation of the Year award for its predictive corrosion under insulation monitoring system. In 2024, Dr. Nasser received the GSMR Women in Excellence Achievement Award at MainCon Conference for her significant contributions and leadership in her industry. We also have with us Ms. Fatma Al-Kaabi, Director of Middle East for WIRAM and a technical committee member for LIWAS. With 12 years of experience in the oil and energy industry, she's currently serving as a project manager at OQ, and she's a certified PMP and ILM Level 3 high potential leadership professional. She's also actively involved in various committees. In 2024, she received the GSMR Emerging Professional Award at MainCon and the GPCA Women in Supply Chain Award for her outstanding leadership and contributions to the industry. Last but not least, we have Ms. Manal Al-Bawardi. She's a passionate technology leader and a proud mother of four. She holds a master in software engineering from DePaul and a bachelor in computer science from KFU and an MBA from IE. With 12 years of experience at Aramco as a manager, she now serves as the deputy CIO at KFU PM, driving digital transformation. She's also a trailblazer in IT and is committed to empowering women in tech and leadership. With these inspiring women leaders, let's dive in and explore the power of risk-taking as a catalyst for growth and innovation and leadership. Let's start with you, Dr. Shiraz. Can you share a brief story about a risky decision that you made in your career and how it impacted your journey?
Thank you very much, Rania. First of all, I would like to say thanks for inviting me to this panel and happy International Women's Day for all the women that joined us today to hear us sharing our experience with risk takings and our career. So to answer your question, Rania, one of the riskiest decisions in my career I made was really transition to entrepreneurship by founding Corrosion Radar. So to do that, I left a stable job and I ventured in entrepreneurship. What makes it risky, if you know that probably approximately 10% of startups fail in the first year, and the failure rate actually increases after that, and you have probably around 70% of startup failing within the first 5 years, and probably around 90% startups do not survive. I'm not saying this to put people off to do startups. It's the best thing that happened in my career, but just to show you that is a very risky thing to do. Especially, I have a family, I left a job, but I followed my passion. After I did a PhD, in France, and I had the entrepreneurship kind of mindset at that time, and I wanted to do that at that time. But the ecosystem, the network was not there to support my ambition. So I left it on the side, and after 10 years of working with corporates, that ambition to really run my own company in my own way was always there. And what stopped me to do it is also thinking about the risk, the fear of the unknown. And at some point, I'm like, I really, if I don't do it now, I will never do it. If I'm there was a time in my life I thought it's now or never. And I overcame that fear of unknown and overcame of, okay, it's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking. And worst case scenario, I'll learn from it. So for me, jumping into that unknown, in that entrepreneurship, also surrounded by the right ecosystem, like-minded people helped me also with taking that risk. And I never looked back. Is the best decision I ever took in my life. Not easy. It's not easy. A lot of work, but it was a risk worth taking.
Thank you for sharing that inspiring story. It's clear that your courage and determination have paid off. I'm sure our audience will find your experience and insights very motivating. I'd like to open this question up to our other panelists. Ms. Fatma, then we'll hear from Ms. Manal. Ms. Fatma, would you share a brief story about a risky decision that you made?
Yeah, thank you, Rania, for your support, for your follow-up for this webinar. I'm really appreciated as well the GSMR for their efforts and for your introduction. So from my side, just I'm going to preview at the risk that I take it in the decision when I moved from civil department, which I am as basically civil engineer in civil department. So it was the chance to move from civil department to plant support department. So what is the difference between them? The plant support department, basically, it is including all discipline-wise, not only civil department, which it is, I have mechanical, static, rotating, electrical, and instrument, and so on. So as you know, from my experience as a civil, it is very difficult to move to another plant support team, which it is having 12 members. They have multidiscipline-wise. So it's for me, really, it was very hard decision to take because I know will be huge challenge. I need to face it. But Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I take that decision because I know if I will be on the same department as a civil, I will be continue on the same. It will not be any change on my experience. And also I will be same in the comfort zone. So I thought it is better to change and to face the challenge because I'm sure that the challenge it will give me more improvement and development on my career. So this is the main decision, which it was really risky. But Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, currently I'm lead the team. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen in very well situation.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful to see how that risk paid off for you. Your journey is a powerful illustration of how a leap of faith can lead to the most fulfilling outcomes. We'd love to hear from you, Ms. Manal.
Hello everyone, كل عام وانتم بخير and مبارك عليكم الشهر. First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here with you today. Last time I think I met with GSMR, I was moderating the Liwas event. So thank you for including me with anything related to women, as I am pro-women, women support when they are upward. So my decision was, I don't think it's very novel or something that is, interesting. However, it was a life-changing decision for me. So I don't know if most of you are, on the domain or understand the domain of working in a corporate like Saudi Aramco in Saudi Arabia. It's a corporate that is usually having generations and generations of people, the father, grandfather, and their great-grandfather. And then, when they go there, they never leave until they retire. So I was the first generation to join the company from my family, like me and my three sisters. So we're four sisters in the company. I imagined myself retiring in Saudi Aramco, where I never thought I'll be leaving. So when I was approached by the headhunter that called me from the UK, actually, Dr. Shiraz. So a number from UK popped in. They are asking me about, CIO level. I thought it's a joke, honestly, like me, or want to take me as a CIO. It's something that I did not consider, at least at this stage of my career. However, they saw something in my resume through LinkedIn, surprisingly, that I did not really appreciate. So this tells me that after I made this leap of faith and I moved from my current or my previous job as a manager in Saudi Aramco, leading only 60 people, into being a deputy CIO, leading more than 250 people and managing the IT department of the #1 university in the Middle East and Africa, was something that I thought I cannot do. So now, now I've been there for a while, and I would like to give you just 3 main takeaways for all females here, also males, anyone who is mid-career. We have to understand that confidence grows after you take the leap, not before. So you would never be 100% confident that you can do what you wanted to do unless you actually do it and try. Number 2 is taking risks inspire others. Many have, come up to me, and I saw many have actually submitted the resignations, around the time that I did, because we had deep discussions. I had discussions with people who I have trusted to make this decision. So it actually inspired others for you to take risks. And I would say that the best opportunities are the ones that in the other side of fear. So for everyone here today, always say yes, even before you are ready. Take the risk, step into the unknown, always. And trust your gut feeling when it tells you go for it, even if this is something that you did not plan for, because you have to be agile. Things do not always go as planned.
Thank you, Ms.
Back
Manal.
to
That's
you,
truly
Rania.
empowering. That's truly empowering. And it's clear that taking that risk has had a profound impact on your career and your personal growth as well. Now, let's dive deeper into the decision-making process that led to these pivotal moments. Dr. Shiraz, we'd like to start with you. How did you weigh the pros and cons of that decision, and what factors influenced your choice?
I mean, I'll talk a little bit also in my career as a CEO of a startup. I mean, when you are leading a startup, you are taking decisions all the time, and you need to be agile. And worst thing you can really do is not take a decision and not take a risk. I mean, the definition of leading a startup is that you are actually leading something very risky that nobody did before, and you are trying to make it work for so you are trying to solve a problem for the market. For us, for example, just briefly, we are providing a digital solution to the energy sector and oil and gas more specifically. So some decisions are based on data that I take. Some decisions are based on gut feelings because you are entering something new. And when you are basing a decision on gut feeling, you are taking a big risk. But I think for me, what is the driver in all my decision, be it going into the entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur and taking decision within my company, is what worse can happen? I mean, some decisions, some of them are 50-50, and you go into that and you are aware of that. I think that's a very important point, that you are saying, I'm taking a decision based on ABC. ABCs could be some facts, could be gut feelings, and sometimes it's going to be 50-50. But if there is a failure, I'm going to learn from it. So failure should not be seen as a negative thing. It should be, for me, when you fail, meaning you're trying hard and you're entering the risky zone and you are learning from that. So kind of it's a learning curve that you're going through. But back to when I take also decision as part of leading a startup, there are some elements that I take into consideration. Is what is the impact of that decision on my technology, on my solution, on the market that I'm trying to open, on how our customers gonna. So I put factors in there that are guiding my decision, but also be open and transparent with my team and resources. So what resources we have, you have to make sure that also you are take into consideration the reality that you are living in, plus the ambition that you want to achieve, and try to merge that. Being also, I think taking a risk as a leader is important, but be open about that to your team as well. So if things are happening or we need to tweak something or reverse that decision, you have the team behind you. So for me, I'm all about taking, risky decision, not foolish, but calculated mixture, but also make sure that your support system, be it your team, be it your advisors, are also behind you if things are not going in the right direction, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just how to course correct that and learn from that and move on from it. So for me, accepting that decision could be wrong, but being aware of that and making sure that I'm agile in course correcting that is very important. And failure is not a problem. Is a learning, a learning factor.
Your approach to weighing pros and cons and considering multiple factors and being open to learning from both success and failure is truly admirable and a great lesson for all of us. Ms. Manal, did you rely on data, intuition, or a combination of both?
So I would say that, you should, in many cases, rely 100% in data. In other areas, you should rely, I would say, almost 100% in your intuition. In other sides, you could go for, a combination of both. So, as an engineer, I always like to take things into like more like processes. So let's talk about when to go to data. You should go to data when you have a repeatable decision that you're going to repeat, you have past patterns about it, you have historical trends. So you know that you shouldn't have your gut feeling, doing anything with those. When you have a high stake but low uncertainty decision, so you have lots of data, let's say. So there is clear correlation between the cause and the effect. For example, you want to optimize your business operating model, you want to do restructuring for better outcomes. You know that it has worked before, so your gut feeling has nothing to do with this. I would say these are the two main things that you only rely on data, and you can see it's only two main areas, because most of the time, most of the decisions, leaders in high positions, as Dr. Shiraz said, it's not as simple as that. So when you have ambiguous situations, data is incomplete, you don't have like information about the subject like before, just like a startup or like a decision on an area that you have never gone to. For example, within like a KFUPM, we've been asked now to look at the cloud migration, for example. It's an area that I've never been through, or many of my team members never gone through. So it's an ambiguous situation. So we have to look at data, do benchmarking, and go with gut feeling as well. Also, another side for when to rely on intuition is to go with decisions that require creativity, requires innovation. When you want to do like a product design, marketing, you don't have to go back to data, but some data could help as well. When you are also, this is the last point for the intuition part, when you have very restricted time, when you have time constraint, when you're in a crisis situation, fast moving environment, you need to take decisions fast. You don't have time for deep analysis. So usually for me, I 100% go to intuition when it comes to people and relationships and bridges that I don't want to burn. Other than that, I always go to hybrid model. What do I mean by hybrid model? Hybrid model, as simple as start with data always. Make sure that you gather as much relevant data as you have, metrics, have your scorecards, have your KPIs ready. Validate this with your intuition. If it doesn't feel right for you because you have experience, someone tells you, I did a saving of 10 billion for this kind of project, but you have experience and your gut feeling and intuition tells you that this doesn't really line up, then trust your gut feeling and go look for more data. Always stress test your decision. Make sure that you challenge any assumption, you be your own self's devil's advocate or have someone to be that for you. Always act and adapt and keep, trying and failing. And as Dr. Shiraz said, you have to try and fail. Final takeaway, I would say, over-relying on data will make you slow and rigid. Over-relying on intuition will make you, unscalable and, very chaotic. So always try to have balance between the two for you to be faster, smarter, and more strategic in your leadership. That's it for me. Back to you again, Rani.
Thank you for sharing your strategies. It's wonderful to see or to hear how you balanced different factors to make an informed decision. Ms. Fatma, were there any mentors, role models, or support systems that helped you make any decision?
Yes, Rania, of course, I had a mentor who was had a similar risk to what I faced it. And of course, he share all the, experience, how he faced it and how he, make it very simple and very small to take that challenge and take that risky decision. Of course, from the strong support system, it is of course my family, especially to my mother and my husband, who was really encouraging me to move forward to my passion and to have more confidence on myself.
That's wonderful to hear. It's clear that having a supportive network and a mentor who understood your aspirations made a big difference. Your decision-making process, it highlights the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who believe in us and our abilities. As we move forward, decision-making is just the first step. It's how we respond to obstacles that really matters. Let's hear from Dr. Shiraz. What were some of the challenges you faced after making that decision, and how did you overcome these challenges?
So I'll go back again to being CEO of a tech company. So for me, the journey, I call it as a roller coaster. And why I'm calling it like that, because it's full of challenges. And this is what makes it exciting for me, because there's no routine. You are always dealing with challenges and risks, including securing funding to make sure you have the right cash flow to run your company, hiring the right people, gaining the right market, and being a mom as well. It's a risky decision, so your brain is always working. It's a 24/7. So also make sure that is the impact on your family and your kids is kind of factored in there as well. So I overcome these really challenges, be it personal with having a very demanding job, be it with a job, is really staying resilient and really clear on my vision. Why am I doing this? What led me to do this from the beginning? It's good to remind ourselves, why did I take this decision? Because if you change a job or you take a decision to change your career path, you've done it because there was a reason behind it. So, and sometimes with challenges and stuff, we forget that. So it's really good to remind ourselves with our vision, with our ambition, with our passion. I mean, for me, what I'm doing is my passion. So during those challenges, and I try to stay resilient and remind myself about with that. And I'll take an example as, for example, the COVID. I mean, it seems like a distant memory now, but a lot of small companies struggled really big time, and we were still a small company at that time, and we had so many projects coming through, and all of a sudden the whole world stops. But for me, what really made me get through it is really, in my head, I said failure is not an option. Failure is not an option, and we will get through this. And I kept communicating that with my team, and I put a strategy called survive, revive, and thrive. So survive. Let's survive. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's survive this period. Then after that, we need to revive ourselves, and then we will thrive. So failure is not an option. So back to being resilient, remind myself why actually I'm doing this, and that failure is not an option to get through this. Being very open and communicate that strategy with my team, inspire them, infuse them with the passion I have, I think helps with overcome challenges that are based on decision that I made, which for me decision to go really entrepreneurship. So yeah, if I summarize that in two things, is really stay resilient, stay patient, and remind yourself with why did you take that decision to start with, your vision, your passion.
I'm impressed by your resilience and adaptability in the face of challenges. It's great to hear how you leveraged your network and transparency to overcome your challenges. Ms. Fadla, how did you handle self-doubt, criticism, or even negative feedback?
Yes, Rania, I handle self-doubt, by remaining myself of why I made the decision, because I know in the first place focusing on the my long-term decision, it is my long-term goals and passion, because I also thought the feedback from others and the feedback from mentors and from the network who's around me, that of course it will help me to grow it further as well.
That's really a wise advice. Reminding yourself of your why and focusing on your bigger picture can be
Exactly.
a powerful way to overcome self-doubt and stay motivated. Ms. Manan, were there any unexpected benefits or opportunities that arose from taking that risk?
So, okay. So, when you take risks, you often focus on what can go wrong. This is what, goes in your mind. Everyone's mind, the natural tendency is to be passive, just to protect yourselves and your feelings. So what I've learned through my career, especially as a woman in the tech industry, is that real magic happens when the unexpected wins start showing up. So there are three main things. So there are lots of things that we can focus on, as a beautiful wins coming out of taking risks. But I'll be trying to summarize it in three main areas. So number one, finding my own voice and confidence. I believe that early in my career, I hesitated a lot. I always made lots of decisions and I changed it. I went to medical school. I studied for 1.5 years and then I left. I studied network engineering in the United States at DePaul University for 6 months. I decided this is not for me. I moved into software engineering, minored in entrepreneurship and technology leadership. I, went into Aramco and then I left them to go to KFUPM. So the lesson I have learned is that the biggest risks that I was taking was stepping into a leadership role, is something that is worthy, and it gave me lots of unexpected benefit. I realized that confidence, again, as I said at the beginning, does not come before the leap of faith. It comes after and because of the leap of faith. Take it and then see if you can handle it or not. You cannot know before. It's not theoretical, it's actually execution. Experience taught me to trust myself and know, to encourage other youngsters out there that they can do it. So this is number one. Number two, as a benefit out taking risks, is building a stronger support system. Of course, as Fatma said, you have your parents, you have your husband, you have your family, you have also the help, the nannies, the driver you have. They all are a support system to you, especially as a working mother. However, you taking risks will make you bring people into your life that you never expected coming into your life. When I spearheaded one major project in Aramco, it was a digital transformation project. I was surprised by the number of people that have joined, because when you take a risk, you have lots of people attracted to your courageous decision. I have lots of mentors out of this experience. I have lots of allies. I have lots of peers. I have lots of also, subordinates, people who have worked for me that we now, even after I left the company, they are still, very close friends, because I took the risk and because we wanted to thrive through this challenge together. And the last thing is something I also mentioned at the beginning. You inspire others without even knowing it when you take risks. The most surprising thing is that the risk, when you take it, it doesn't only impact you, it also impacts others. Believe it or not, taking risks also impact your personal life as well. So it's very important. One very important key takeaway is that, please, all of you out there, take a risk, be ready for it, but then wait until the end of the discussion, because we're going to talk about the price you pay for taking a risk and how should you be ready for taking the risks. That's it from me. Back to you, Rani.
Like you said, sometimes the best outcomes come from stepping outside of our comfort zones and embracing uncertainty. As we move forward, what are the key takeaways from our panelists' experiences? Starting with you again, Ms. Manan, what did you learn from that experience and how has it shaped your approach to risk-taking in the future?
So I would say that I'll be talking about how did my decision making process have evolved over time. So if I look at the beginning of my career, before I make decisions, I make sure that I have very logical. I have lots of data. I make the right choice. But over time, I have learned that decision making is less about perfection and more about adaptability, trust, and being courageous. So at the beginning, I was more into certainty. Moving into the future, I started to embrace uncertainty. I used to believe that with enough data and analysis, I will make the perfect decision. But I realized, I sometimes had lots of time to make analysis. I did not still make the right decision. So what I started to do, as Dr. Shiraz said, I started to make more informed bets rather than waiting for 100% certainty. Because I read somewhere that, the best leaders in the world are the ones who always have the right answer, not the ones who always have the right answer, but the ones who make the best decisions with the information that is available to them. Also, another thing that has changed throughout my career, my decision-making process, is moving from, at the beginning of my career, I used to be, really independent and solo when I make my decisions, thinking that it makes me look more confident. But as I move, I started to be more, into collaboration, asking others. Maybe there is some of the story that I don't know. Maybe there is, history that I need to be informed about, especially the challenges that is new and novel to me. I think it's very important to make sure that you are not focusing on perfection. You have to be focusing on progress. You have to be focusing on trusting your gut feeling. The most important thing is to make the decision. Make the decision. Keep momentum. Take action. Keep moving forward. This is what matters really. Every choice you make, whether it's good or bad, it will teach you something. I would say, like, final takeaway out of this is, if I look back at my career, my decision making has evolved from fear of making the wrong choice into confidence in navigating whatever comes next. I would say something that I like always to tell anyone I work with: please be courageous, make lots of failures, celebrate failures, embrace them, fail fast, realize that you're failing, and then stand up again. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Manan, for sharing those valuable lessons. Ms. Fatma, are there any specific skills or strategies that you developed as a result of taking that risk?
Yes, Rania, taking the risk, of course, it is helping me, to develop several key skills. As mentioned by Manal as well, became more adaptable. This is very important. And as well, the additional skills that I get it from the taking decision, I'm able to, solving any problem that I'm facing, because the skills which I have been, taking from the experience that helping me to have more strong skills, especially from communication, from the leadership skills as well. Also became more confidence. This is very important, the overcome from the taking decision. And of course, that also will helping me, to overcome from any challenges facing in my life during the career.
It's wonderful to see the profound impact on your personal and professional growth.
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Shiraz, how do you think your decision-making process has evolved over time?
So, for me, as I said, what I found really interesting, especially, we are celebrating women today, and I will focus a little bit on females today, because I did a lot of also mentorship programs where I mentored females, especially coming from STEM, wanting to do their own ventures and own companies. Well, I found there are two really big elements that keep repeating themselves. The confidence, I think Manel talked about that, and fear. I think fear is a human thing, but confidence, I found it really, really very low within the kind of the female STEM engineers, that they are thinking of doing their setup, and the confidence comes from the lack of role models. For me, we do like what we are doing today, even if it's can help a little bit in showing that other people did take a risk in one direction or another and succeeded, is already building someone's confidence. And having more and more role models, very, very important. So for me, how what things taught me is how I can give back, how can I also share my experience, so to inspire someone that if I did it, you can also take a risky decision, and you can do it. I can see that even from my daughter. I mean, my daughter, she's still young, and she thinks, okay, CEO is a easy thing to do. Yeah, I want to come be a CEO. So she doesn't have that fear, because she's seeing someone close to her who's gone through that journey. So the more we share that experience, the more we talk about it, I think we more inspire young females to take risks, to be more more confident in their decision, and more confident that what worse can happen, if you do it, you don't succeed, you learn from it and you build up on it. So for me, kind of what evolved in my time is really make sure that I have, a balanced approach between, data driven, collaborative. I think Manel talked about that earlier, the intuition, um, the importance of the network. So as probably someone inspired me 10 years ago, I want to inspire more people and be open about it. And it starts from young, girls at schools. And that's very important, because that's where the lack of confidence comes. As I said, for females, I find this lack of confidence is really big problem in taking this, risky decision. Oh, why me? Maybe I might not, succeed. And for me, my question is, why not? Why not you? So confidence is very, very important. And the more things we do, the more we build up a confidence. So yeah, for me, as decision kind of making process evolved from my side is take more decision, do more things, be patient, because that was not one of my qualities before. Sometimes you take a decision and you overcome risk and you want success quickly. Sometimes it doesn't come quickly. So stay resilient, be patient, and surround yourself with the right people to inspire you and give you the confidence that you can do it, you can take risky decisions, and even if you failed, it's not a problem. Try again. So that's from me, Rania.
I love that you're sharing your experience with young female and that you've evolved your decision-making process to incorporate balance of data-driven, collaborative, and intuitive approaches. Thank you, Dr. Shiraz.
Thanks.
We've explored their experiences and lessons learned. Now let's hear their advice. Let's start with you, Ms. Fatma. What advice would you give to women who are considering taking a similar risk in their career?
I believe similar to Dr. Sherry's what she mentioned. She mentioned the main important the confidence. We need to build really the confidence in ourselves and to keep ourselves confidence for whatever decision we are gonna to take it, even though if the decision maybe it will be fail, but of course that it will give us an experience from having the risk with whatever we are gonna to take in our career. Because whatever decision we are going to take it, of course you are going to have it and experience from it, either from your personal experience or from the leadership skills experience, and all those experience it will help you to grow in your career in future. So this is my takeaway to all of them.
I couldn't agree more. I'm sure it will resonate with many women in our audience today.
Exactly.
Dr. Shiraz, how can women build resilience and confidence to take bold decisions?
For me, first of all, I think women need to believe in their vision. So if they have a vision, if they have an ambition to be somewhere, to be something, to build something, they have to believe in that. And being surrounding with people pulling you down, that's not going to happen. So make sure you are surrounded by the right people that are inspiring you, read the right books, listen to the right podcast. That is all builds up confidence, because at the end of the day, it comes between confidence and fear. So if we build up that, surrounded by the right people, having the right vision, being determined that you want to succeed, accept failure. Okay, accept that failure is part of the journey and it's okay. I think that is very important. Surrounding yourself with the right support system and education, because I think Manel mentioned earlier, accept that you are not good at everything. Understand what you are good at, and accept your weaknesses. Because I think when we are young, people or the education system is always okay, strengthen your weaknesses. And for me, as I grow in my career, I accept my weaknesses. I'm not good at this, and I'm going to complement it by either having the right person in that job or teach myself that, or whatever. So accept your weaknesses, focus on your strength, surround yourself with the right people that they inspire you and pull you up rather than down, and be kind of determined that you want to succeed. You want your life to have a meaning. Once you retire, you want to look back and be proud of that. Don't miss out. It's in the end of the day, it's a short window. Things go very quickly, and I see a lot of ex-colleagues. They look back and they're like, oh my God, I missed that. I wish I took that decision. I wish I took that risk. And that's not a nice thing to do when you are at your 60s or 70s. So think about that. You want to be proud of what you've done, and you want to make sure that you did not miss something just because you were not confident and you had a fear of doing it. Yeah, so that's my takeaway and my advice.
I love that approach. Continuous learning, embracing challenges, and even celebrating small wins is a great way to build resilience and confidence. And having a supportive network can make all the difference. Ms. Manal, are there any specific resources or support systems that you would recommend for women to looking to take risks in their career?
Hello, Rania. So certainly, without any hesitation, yes, you will not be able to succeed all by yourself. This is for sure. You need an entire ecosystem for you to succeed. If a male that has been in the industry for so many years before we joined needs that, then for sure you need double of that. So I would say three main things for all females here in the room to focus on. Number one, look at mentors and sponsors. Mentor is good. I had lots of mentors throughout my career, but my career started to really accelerate and took off when I found a sponsor. طبعا it's easier said than done. How do you find a sponsor? And I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in luck alone. So the good opportunities presents themselves to you when you are ready for them, when you work really hard technically. So you have lots of projects under your belt. So when it is time for you to present to top management, to take, high profile projects, then you will be, acknowledged and you will be looked at. And there is no shame of you going after you do this kind of big showcase of a project to go and ask this kind of, high profile person to be your sponsor, whether it's a male or a female. So sponsor is the key for you to succeed in any, of course, and mentors. Mentors are much easier to find, but sponsors are really something that you should be focusing on throughout your career. Don't make a mistake of only following the high profile projects and leaving the smaller ones that doesn't really show up in front of management. People are not stupid. They're going to catch up on that. This is number one. Number two, back to the point where Dr. Shiraz, exactly on point, Dr. Shiraz. We have to be ready as females mentally and emotionally. We have to have mental and emotional support. طبعا الأولى, which is mentors and sponsors, doesn't have to be only at work, even mentors in life, to have your support system, but also mentally and emotionally, you have to be strong. You have to believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing. So you have to ask for help from your support system, even when you not desperately need it. Don't wait until you have a fever of 40 and your kid is sick and what have you, and then you ask for help. Because if you are drained emotionally, you will be sick all the time. You will not perform at home. You will not be a good mom. You'll not be a good wife, not be a good friend. Even at work, you're not going to perform. So don't wait to ask for help. This was one of my pitfalls. I couldn't ask for help, even from my sisters, even from my mom. I didn't like someone taking my kids to appointments. I didn't like someone, taking care of workers coming to my home. I learned to do it, and I think this helped me to accelerate my career. Read confidence boosting books. Back to your point, Dr. Shiraz. One book I could recommend, which I read personally, is Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. This is great. It helps all ladies to navigate their career growth. Again, as Dr. Shiraz said, I could not find a role model for me to look up to, someone, from our area, understand our challenges, understand, what we go through as females within this culture. So be your own role model, create this role model, have a strong network. Don't just sit at home and expect that someone will pick you up. You have to build your network. You have to start attending events such as this one. You have to go to other events, that not only women events. No, be diverse, look at you have to do an exercise of looking at your network. What kind of network, external, internal? What kind of network could take you, 2 years down the road? What kind of network could take you 5 years and then 10 years down the road? What do you aspire to be? Do you want to be a CEO of your own company? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? You need to know what you want. Lastly, before you make big decision, before you be risky and be crazy and take decisions, you have to have financial and career safety net. How to have financial safety net? You have to build an emergency fund, which is, almost like 6 months of salary. You have it, at a side in case if you take a big risky move that could, make you lose your job, or if you decide to be an entrepreneur and open your job, you have to your own company, then you have to have this emergency fund. Learn two very important aspects when it comes to career safety net. To negotiate your salary, you can have, people to do this on your behalf. You don't have to do it yourself. And to upskill yourself before you make a very big career leap. So I would say, just as a takeaway, thank you for making me close today. As a key takeaway, please take a risk. Taking risk is never just about this moment. It's about having the right people, having the right knowledge, having the safety net behind you. You're not alone. You have to create an ecosystem. Find your support system, invest in yourself, and remember, you don't have to do it alone. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Mahan, for sharing those valuable recommendations. I'm sure our audience will find them helpful in their own career journeys, including myself. It's encouraging to see women supporting and empowering each other to take risks and pursue their goals. Thank you so much, Dr. Shiraz, Ms. Fatma, and Ms. Manan for an intriguing and interactive webinar tonight. It was my pleasure to be your moderator for tonight, and our guests for your time and attention wherever you're joining us from. This was very enlightening and interesting. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely night.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Manal.
you.
As we now come to the end of the event, on behalf of GSMR's Board of Directors, I'd like to thank Dr. Shiraz, Ms. Fatma, and Ms. Manal for empowering women in industry with insights on the risk assessment, decision making, and the strategies for managing risk, as well as our moderator, Ms. Rania, for facilitating a stimulating discussion. GSMR Virtual Academy looks forward to welcoming you again soon. Until then, stay safe and have a good night. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming here and being here today with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.